How's it going, JCDC fans? Today we're going to talk about video surveillance systems. I'm going to show you the cameras that I employed, as well as the NVR system that I used, including the software, the PC setup, the whole shebang. So without further ado, let's get to it. So here's one of the cameras we've got. I've noise in the background as I'm testing my batteries. I'll be posting these guys for sale. I've got the 8 BYD batteries, and I'm testing the one there on top right now. You can see the voltage is right at 26. The inverter says it's a little bit different, but yeah, the inverter's usually a little off. I actually tested it at the terminals, and it's a little bit better than what this meter shows. But anyway, enough of that. So we've got one camera here above the equipment room door. And if we zoom or pan, over to here, I got one up here. I got the ladder in the way at the moment, which monitors our man door coming in here. So if somebody comes in, it trips the man door camera. And let's walk out here, and at the gate there, off at the corner, let me zoom in on him. That is my big dog PTZ camera on the outside. That is Amcrest flagship camera. I'll go into a little more detail on what all the models are and everything and how I have my setup. Now my plan is to put one on the opposite corner. Oops, let me zoom back out here. Over here on that side. So that way I've got one on opposing corners, or two on each opposing corner, so I can see 360 degrees around the building. And if I pan around, that's our view of Stronghold over there. So let's go back inside and we'll take a look at the setup. All right, folks, well, welcome back. All right, so let's take a look at the desktop here. I've got my browser open. I like to use the Brave browser over Chrome and Firefox and some of this. If you don't know, I run Linux as my desktop operating system. In the background here, this is the shot of Stronghold out of this is going to be our backyard, basically. Anyway, so yeah, I use Brave. You can see here that this thing blocks trackers and ads. So 14,427. I've only been using it on this machine for about a month. It's saved me in bandwidth over 360 megabytes and 13 minutes of time. So that's 13 minutes of my life I get back that it's loaded in. So I highly recommend Brave browser. It works on all the operating systems. You can do it on, whatever, Windows, Mac, obviously Linux. Okay, so I wanted to show you the cameras that I actually have in my system here. I purchased this guy. This is the outside guy on the northwest corner. It's their latest, greatest pan tilt zoom, power over Ethernet. That's what PoE stands for. And it's mounted there in the corner. Now, thankfully, I didn't pay $520, so I got it on a pretty good sale. I actually picked it up. I think I bought it on Amazon. Might have been like $480 or something. It was less than $500. I remember that. Anyway, the reason why I bought it, though, it was the latest built-in night vision and AI. That's what the AI in the model number here stands for. So it has built-in AI to it, but I'm actually not really using it that way. I bought it because it had the smarts to do that. Before I made the decision to go with the NVR, the network video recorder that I set up, I thought I might take advantage of that. But anyway, this guy's a beast. All metal construction, really cool. Now, since then, I found some other cameras that I might do. Hikvision is another good brand. That I might actually use when I put the one on the southeast corner of the garage. I haven't done that yet. The other cameras that I have in the garage are these 4 megapixel Wi-Fi cameras. So those are the ones that are mounted up high, watching the door, as well as the whole area of the garage outside the equipment room. I didn't pay $75 for these either. I know I got them cheaper than that. Amcrest runs deals every now and then, and I want to say I paid $60 for them or something like that, but it was crazy. I got them pretty cheap. And then I also ordered a corner bracket for the for this guy. So you saw, hopefully on the video there, that I have it mounted directly on the corner of the flashing on the building. And so they make this bracket that kind of comes, it's like a box, and then instead of completing the box, it flares out at 45 degrees like that, so that you can attach it to the corner of the building, so you can watch, 270 degrees around the building. And then anyway, and then these guys watch the inside. So that's the cameras that I ended up getting. Mainly I wanted to stick with all one brand, but I think now that I've watched some YouTube videos and some other people that are using the software that I have set up over here that we're going to look at in a minute, they mix and match their cameras all over the place. And they usually don't recommend these pan tilt zoom ones. Now I wanted these because I wanted the ability to be able to zoom and pan around and be able to see. I use the pan feature of that outside camera a lot. It has a 320, let's see, what is it, a 328 foot night vision, and you can zoom in on that. We're probably a quarter of a mile off the road, our driveway is. I can zoom in all the way up onto the road. I can see JC when she's coming from a quarter of a mile away down the road. There's a clearing through all the trees that I can kind of zoom in and kind of pan it over and zoom in and see her. So, I mean, I could spy on the neighbors if I really wanted to, but not really that many neighbors around here to spy on. So, plus I have a drone for that anyway, so who cares? Anyway, so these are the cameras if you want to check them out. This is, like I said, this is the IP4M 1063 EW AI. And then I have the IPM4 1051 and in white. I got them in white. Didn't really care. I probably should have got black. That would have been a little more blending in at night. But anyway, I think the white ones were on sale. That's why I got the white ones. So that's the camera system. So let's move over now and take a look at the NVR system that I have set up. Okay, so here we are. I've got a remote desktop. I've got a remote desktop connection into that machine on my Linux box, and I've got the Blue Iris program open up here, and you can see I've got all three cameras going. You can see the driveway coming in. Here's the view from the doorman camera, and then the main camera outside the equipment room here. And then on the left-hand side, we've got events that have happened, and most of them are recording me going in and out of the equipment room here. Excuse me, and because I'm checking on them, doing some battery tests here on these guys. So in between meetings and stuff for work, I've been going out and checking on them. Now, I'm by no means an expert on Blue Iris. I did a lot of investigation between different ways of setting up this system. I looked at a out-of-the-box NVR system from Amcrest. So basically it's like a little mini server with a switch built into it, an Ethernet switch, as well as got the hard disk and the operating system. It's all self-contained, sort of like if you were doing security for, say, a liquor store or something. You'd throw one of these in, put up a bunch of cameras, plug it in, you're ready to go. Hook up a monitor to it, obviously. Now that's one route. That was a couple $100. And what I found out was in my investigation is you're limited, not necessarily by the aspects of the software, but on the hardware that they use in those pre-built systems. Most of the reviewers that I saw said you could go up to maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 cameras, depending on the megapixel, whether they're 4K, 8K, 2K, that kind of thing. So depending on what your mix of cameras is, you have an upper limit. Now this machine I built myself. It is actually running on a, let's see, what have we got here? We look at this. If we go into settings, and where's the system information? There it is, the very first one. And if we go to about, so you can see this is an Intel Xeon. This used to be my main server motherboard a year ago or so. So what I did is I have a really slick case that's meant to fit into like a media center. It's black and it basically looks like a stereo cabinet. But anyways, I put this motherboard in there with a spinning drive, an SSD, and a M2 SSD drive, a PCI drive, which is my main. The SSD is the main C drive that I use to boot up the system and run all the software off of. The M2 drive is the fastest drive in there, and that's what all of the direct feeds go to. So I'm actually recording 24/7 on all of these cameras. And that's where that goes to. And then after a certain period of time, or if the disk gets, I think I set it to 80% full, it will move those off to the spinning disk. I think I've got a terabyte. Actually, you know what? Let's take a look here. So I've got it's a 6 terabyte drive in there. I've got a 6 terabyte drive for my long-term storage. This is the M.2 drive, the super fast. So if we bring this up, whoops, let me go back here. If I right click on this guy and say properties, does it tell you what it is? I don't think it tells you in here. I forget how to find it in Windows. I'm not a Windows guy, but Blue Iris only runs on Windows. So that was one of the hurdles I had to get over when I chose this software. Is I had to say, okay, I got to bite the bullet. I've got to run a Windows machine in my environment. Hate Windows. Don't use it. I'm a Linux guy. I do have a Mac for work, but I don't really use it that much for work. I use the machine that I'm recording this on for work. I've got a much better setup. It's a Dell XPS 15. It's actually more powerful than the Mac. And it's got a better graphics card in it too. So anyway, I use that for my daily driver, but off the topic here. So we've got this guy running. He's got 3 hard drives in it. Actually, this may be 2, 3 terabyte drives now I think about it, that are actually in RAID 0. They're striped. So that's how I'm getting 6 terabytes out of it. Well, what is it? 5.4 something after you format it. But it's 2, 3 terabyte drives. So anyway, that's how I have it set up. This is the main, you can see the Windows logo here. That's the main boot drive. This is where all my footage goes, so I named it new footage. And then this is named long-term, so all the long-term stuff goes there. Back to this guy. So it's a 3.5 gigahertz Intel Xeon processor. It's not new by any stretch of the imagination. I think I bought it, 6 years ago when I got this CPU. And it wasn't brand new even then. But it's pretty kick-ass for what I'm using it for. As you can see down here, Home Assistant, Blue Iris tells you what kind of resource usage you're using. So I'm only using right now 6% of the CPU. I believe it's a 12 core CPU. I've got 32 gigs of RAM, and you can see I'm only using 455 megabytes just for Blue Iris. So not really resource intensive with the cameras that I'm using. And I've got, these guys are all 4 megapixel cameras that I'm running here. So what's cool about this too is I can bring up one of the cameras and go full screen if I want to. I can go back. Actually, let's go back. Come on, there we go. I can click on it and I can pan around inside here. And it's a little bit laggy because I'm actually remote desktops into that machine. So I showed this a little bit in a previous video, but I can pan around here. Let me go up a little bit, move over. There's the back of the truck. Let's see, anything interesting here? So I've got presets on here too. So technically this is preset 1. If I go to preset 2, that should take us to the end of the driveway here. There we go. That is actually the road right down here. You can see the neighbor's gate over there. We're actually almost a quarter of a mile away, and I'm zoomed in on that. 3 is the where the default, where I leave it. Let's hit that and see it update. So I can see most of the driveway if people start coming up. I have another preset so I can look out to the west. Let's see here. This is just outside the front of the garage area there. You can see where the UPS guy makes his loops to come around and do my Amazon deliveries. And then I can see to the west of us here, And then they have to the south of us, I believe, right out the corner of the driveway or garage. Yep. And then looking to the further to the south here. So it's a little bit laggy, like I said, because I'm on a remote desktop connection, even though my network is pretty zippy. It's a little bit laggy, but on the main system, I mean, it goes just like that. So let's put it back to where I normally keep it. Now we've got a timeline down here at the bottom that's showing you when events are occurring. So these are little purple flags. I don't know if you can make that out in the video. These are little purple flags showing up here, and that means an event was flagged, and then what happens is the AI portion of Blue Iris takes over, and it analyzes the footage that it has, and it tries to determine, hey, is this a car? Is this a person? Is this a dog? So that's what these are over here, and you can see in the very first one here at the top, it's got the purple flag, and it looks like, I think the green means it identified something, and then you can see a little icon of a human, probably got me in there. So there's me looking at the battery usage, and we got the Gooser there in the background, and just kind of setting things up, getting ready for the test. So this was done today, 5/26 at 10:12. So I'm actually recording some stuff for another video that I'm going to be putting out. So there's one footage. So if we go a little earlier, oh, we can see the dogs are coming out of the room. Oh, here I come, and getting stuff set up to do the testing. What's this one here? So we're showing the camera, and I think, oh, it's me coming in. Yeah, coming in from outside. And what's this one here? Probably another one of me. Yep, going out. So you can go back in time and take a look at footage. So if something happens, you can go back, and these are kept in high resolution. I believe I do it for 28 days. I think I have enough capacity. Let's just scroll down here, and we can get one of JC going off to school. Let's see here. Yeah, I've been going in and out all day. There we go. So here's one where we're catching JC. She's the school nurse at one of the local schools. Yep, there she goes off in the Jeep. And she's doing that so that, we're putting in a well. So she's making a few extra bucks during the month. She's going to be actually ending school this week and then off for a couple of months. So hopefully we'll get a lot done in that time. But just to give you an idea of what you can do with this software. And like I said, the built-in AI that they have in here is called, I believe it's called DeepStack. Let's see if I go, where is that? AI. Yeah, it's called DeepStack. So it's enabled, and it's actually a separate service that runs alongside of Blue Iris. Blue Iris is the software that we're using to do the recording. DeepStack kind of runs in parallel, and what happens is Blue Iris is recording to disk, and DeepStack is watching that area. So right here, C:\DeepStack is where I init the location, and what it does is it monitors those frames, each frame that comes in, and it's able to pick out those images. So that's how I have it set up. There's plenty of videos and information that can do a far better job on how you set up Blue Iris and DeepStack than what I can do. But I'm just kind of showing you what I've got. And so the plan is, like I said, in the very near future, is to mount one more of those outdoor cameras on the southeast corner. That way I'll have one going this way and one going this way on either side of the building, and I can zoom and see 360 degrees around the building, as well as the two inside. Once we start building the house, I'll probably install a camera or two over there so we can watch as everything, or maybe I don't know, we'll see how the PTZ camera on the corner of the garage handles the view. The RV is parked right there, so it might be in the way, so I might have to install another camera or two. But anyways, I want to capture as much footage as I can from the outside, and I'll use Blue Iris to do that. Since it records in full high-res video, I'll be able to use the footage from there in order to capture that. So let's go back to the live view here. Let's see, I showed you all of that. That's pretty much it, what I wanted to show as far as camera setup, how we do the software, and it's pretty much hands-off. Oh, one other thing, I'll switch to my phone. So here is the Blue Iris app. You can see I got a whole bunch of stuff here on my main screen. I use Outlook for work, Home Assistant. I listen to Google Podcasts and some other stuff here, but the Blue Iris one is pretty cool. So I named my system JCDC, obviously, and this is what it looks like when it comes up. So I get the CPU usage for the system, and now one thing I want to point out is you can see in the upper right-hand corner, I'm actually connected to my Wi-Fi network. My wireless network. I'm not connected locally, so I'm on the 5G network. I'm using the Zero Tier application on Blue Iris as well as on my cell phone to make a connection between the two. I spoke about this in the last video. And so what we've got here is a direct connection to the Blue Iris machine using their application. So anyway, we were using, wow, it's kicked up, must be doing some AI stuff. So we're back down to 6%, 14% memory usage, 4% disk usage, whoop-dee. So now what we can do is we can tap on the camera icon here down at the bottom, and we can bring up different views of the cameras. Now I have camera groups set up. I've got all cameras and then the garage cameras. So if I click on garage cameras, let me rotate it here, you can see the same view that we were looking at in the console. So what's cool about this is I was in Vegas a month or two ago, and we had someone watching the dogs for us, and boom, I could pull this up so that JC could get her dog fix. We could see him sleeping in the garage somewhere, and you can even control these things. So if I go to the, let's say I bring up the, there we go. Click on this camera here, I can move around. You can see I can go back and forth, and then I'm going to actually put it back where it's supposed to be in the software, I think. There we go. There we go. Yep. So I don't have a number system on this little keypad, but I use the console with my mouse to put it back where it actually goes. Anyway, you can see I can control those from here, which is pretty cool. Now, I haven't figured out all the aspects of this guy yet. I don't want to open that. Anyway, let's go back, and I can look at each individual one. So I can bring up the outside camera there, and we can watch a live feed of that if we want to. I can swipe and go to the next camera, so we can see there's the garage, there's the man door, and then we'll exit out of that. There's a quick view of what you can do with the remote application for Blue Iris. So that's about it for that system. I may have some updates that I want to, I wanted to kind of go over costs, I guess. So I talked a little bit about the camera cost. Blue Iris is actually another knock on Blue Iris. It's actually a licensed software application compared to some of the other ones I was looking at. So I mentioned before, I'm a big Linux guy. I looked at a lot of the Linux options, and I was this close to using an application called ZoneMinder. Now, ZoneMinder is the same type of application as Blue Iris here. It runs on Linux. It's free, and it's not too tough to set up, but it doesn't have the DeepStack AI built-in functionality for the artificial intelligence. There is a huge community behind both Blue Iris and ZoneMinder, but I would say the Blue Iris community is like this level compared to ZoneMinder. And there's a lot of YouTubers that I subscribe to that really dig on Blue Iris. So I kind of respect their opinion and some of the things they had to say, and there was even a lot of comparisons. Now some of them are quite old. Maybe I'll do a comparison video here because some of those are old. But every time they pick Blue Iris over the open source version, like ZoneMinder. ZoneMinder is probably the better of the bunch. There's a few of them out there that you can use, but I found ZoneMinder to be the winner. So here's an example, as I was saying, about all-in-one systems you can buy out of the box. So right here, you could get 4 cameras, and these are pretty decent cameras. They're not pan tilt zoom, but you can set them up to monitor a location. And for $550, you get the NVR built into that. Now, most of these, I think, say a hard drive not included, so you got to go out and buy a hard drive. So you don't get all of the extra stuff that I have, like the AI. I've got the SSD, which I think is a 500 gig SSD drive that I use for Windows and the programs and all that. Is that right? No, it's a 200 gig drive. The 500 is what I use for the camera footage. That's the M.2 drive, the fast SSD. And then I have the 6 terabytes of spinning disk that I use for that. So you would not have those options with this. I believe they have the ability to do a USB connection, so you could add external storage if you wanted to offload some of that stuff, but you'd have to provide your own hard disk. Not too bad, but if you want to do something out of the box and you want to get going, one of the best ways to go is with one of these solutions, and either these type of cameras or what they call the bullet cameras. And I would go basically set a budget, go with the best NVR you can get, because you're going to be limited with the number of cameras that you're going to be able to record and how you're going to be able to record those feeds based on the aspects of that hardware. So the CPU, how much memory they put into it, that kind of stuff. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if all of these guys actually run Linux under the covers, and they probably have something like ZoneMinder that they put their own little cover on and made it. Now, a lot of people really like the Amcrest NVRs, but what I wanted to see if I could find here, and a lot of people don't know about this, well, you know what, I'll just do a search, is that Amcrest actually sells licenses for Blue Iris. And where is it? Come on. Blue Iris Professional. There we go. So, and you can actually buy it for less than what you can buy it on from Blue Iris directly. So if you go to Blue Iris, let's see, Blue Iris, I think it's blueirissoftware.com. Yep. So, and if you go to purchase, you'll want the full version. Look, it's $70 if you buy it from them. This other version only supports 1 camera, so not really that useful. You can do up to 64 cameras with Blue Iris. Now, that means your hardware has to be able to support 64 cameras. I don't know anybody that's actually tried that yet, but look at this. Whoops, wrong one. Here we go. 55 versus 70, plus if you subscribe to, I think it's Honey, or if you have a Capital One account, you can do their browser plugin. I actually got it for less than that because it found me like a 15% discount code. So I got it for much cheaper. And like I said, for that price, I couldn't pass it up. I already had the hardware. I just had to buy the cameras, and I got exactly the... Oh, the other thing is, Amcrest version of the NVR, you can only use Amcrest cameras. So you'd have to find some company's NVR out there that if you didn't want to use one camera company's cameras, you wanted to mix and match like I had the ability to, that might be kind of hard to find in an all-in-one solution. So anyway, so for I spent quite a bit more than you would normally do out of the gate, but I wanted something that was, you know, easily upgradable, highly configurable. I wanted AI support. I wanted a vast community around me so that I could ask questions, I could look at videos and find out how other people are doing things. And Blue Iris is the key to that. So they sent out updates a matter of fact, I bet I have an update on there right now. They send them out almost weekly. So you get fresh updates and bug fixes and feature updates at least weekly. So I see them all the time. So anyway, that's my setup here. Leave you with this beautiful background here, and that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you subscribe and like. If you need any help or have any questions regarding any of this stuff, go ahead and leave them down below. You can private message me. I'll get back to you with my email address, or maybe if we need to, we can talk on the phone. I'm happy to help out with this stuff for you guys. If you want to do something like this, or if you want to set up Home Assistant like I talked about, or do anything with the Schneider equipment and the solar monitor software that I wrote, or you just want to shoot the breeze, I'm happy to talk to you. So right now I gotta get off the video and go do some work stuff. So we'll talk to you soon.